Hi everybody, this is Brian, and I'm going to do a walkthrough on a 2022 Salem Hemisphere Fifth Wheel. Go ahead and start off by going over a few inspections. First one would be a roof inspection. You'd want it performed a minimum of twice a year. Make sure those lap seals are staying sealed up. The next would be inspections on your wheel bearings once a year, every 12,000 miles. And then of course always check the batteries once a year to make sure that they are going to hold a charge. It's a pretty good sized camper. Lots of features. I'll go ahead and start on the very front. Anyway, front cargo area. It's going to house your spare tire and 2 batteries, one on each side. It'll also house your front loading jacks for manual operation if you need to. This does have a 3.0 level up system by Lippert Components. One thing I just want to let you guys know, I want you to notice that I extended the front jacks down so that there is room to auto level when you unload it from your vehicle. This side we have propane, 2 30-pound cylinders, dual stage regulator with switchover valve. I just recommend using 1 tank at a time. Next, we have the pass-through cargo. We also have a display here on how to use the leveling system. We got a manual crank on the inside and the touchpad for the leveling. Now, I've already auto leveled. It's very simple. You're just going to turn it on. You're going to wait until it says ready. Then you're just going to hit the auto level and it will auto level itself. When you're done and ready to travel, you'll hit retract all to retract all the jacks, and then use these here for the front jacks for loading and unloading the tow vehicle. On this side we have your docking station. It's going to have your city water connection, fresh water connection. Always use a water pressure regulator that comes in the starter kit. Outside shower, of course. This valve at the very top is for black number 1. The black tank number 1 on the monitor panel is a flush valve to keep those sensors cleaned off. We have winterization components, valve to bypass the hot water tank itself, and then of course another valve for the water pump, and a winterization conversion hose with a finger tight cap for winterization. Other than that, you do have an access to bring the water hose up in from the bottom to connect, and you have cable or satellite inputs if that's available where you go. On to the next would be this hot water tank. This one is a 10-gallon. It's going to use either a 12-volt battery and gas or electric. This switch down here at the bottom left is for electric only, so only turn that on when you plan to use electric. Standard safety blow-off valve, drain plug to drain the hot water tank when you're done. Other than that, the main rule is you don't turn it on or light it unless it's full of water. Always keep that in mind when you want hot water. All right. As far as power, shore cord plugs in right here. It's going to be a 50 amp cord. Detachable. Underneath we have a dump station. Now this camper has 2 dump stations, so it has a bathroom in the front and a bathroom in the rear. This dump station has 2 tanks. You have this gate valve pressed in to be closed is the black number 1. This gate valve underneath in gray color is the gray number 1. So the gray number 1 is going to be the front bathroom, black number 1 is going to be the front toilet. As far as the fresh water, when you're done camping and you want to drain the water out of that tank, you're going to see this valve next to an overflow hose underneath the camper there, kind of behind the front dump station to drain that fresh holding tank. And then of course you have a dump station in the rear for the rear bathroom. This gate valve on the right side is the black number 2 for the rear toilet, and then gray number 2 for the sink the sink in the rear bathroom. All right. Move on around. This does have a Furion base for a backup camera, already installed ladder. They also have a receiver already installed there. Looks like it has a 300-pound capacity for towing or carrying. Over here we have an outside shower or kitchen. I said shower. Not too shabby. Nice grill. Pull the grill out. You have a hose. This hose is basically the same as a quick connect on an air chuck. And we would connect this hose on the very back of the grill. Bring that hose on down to underneath. We have another connection. This one has a valve, closed and opening, and connect your hose. You want to open that valve. And then of course I always put it on high, wait about 6-8 seconds, and then try it again. There we go. Can't tell if you can see the flame in there or not, but it is burning hot. And then of course when you're done, always close that valve, disconnect, and use that little grommet to keep road grime out. Next to the grill we have a spray port. I like calling it an outside spigot. This water spigot is cold water only. You'll simply just shove the coiled hose in to connect. The other end is the water hose application. Very easy to disconnect. And the refrigerator is going to be 125 VAC only, so the camper must be plugged into electric for the mini fridge to work outside. All right, Now there are a couple of things when we was going around. We got a slight hole in the side here. This is going to be for a manual crank to manually operate the slide out on the opposite side of the camper. Here we have another flush valve for the black number 2 tank is on the entrance door side. Going on up here to the front, we have an exhaust for the furnace, some power outlets, of course, cable or satellite outlet or antenna, and of course a TV mount over top of the pass-through cargo access. You can store cargo. Also want to show you on this front wall here, there's quite a few things. This panel here is going to be the controller for your solar panel. It'll give you lots of information as far as what you would like to see, how the panel is operating, how much of a charge level it's putting to the battery, and what volt the battery has currently. Bottle opener, cargo light, of course. This is for a light switch. That's the LED lights on the very front of the cab of this camper. And then, of course, a battery disconnect switch for when you go to store. And this big box is a Xantrax inverter. This is what is powering the refrigerator in this camper. It is the only thing that powers the refrigerator in this camper, and the only way to turn the refrigerator off is by turning the inverter off or by disconnecting the battery. Alright. There is a tether here. Awesome. Now let's go to these steps. A couple of rules on the steps. Make sure you open the door as far as you can so there's no interference. You'll pull a latch here to bring these steps out. These steps have a paddle on each side to adjust the legs. You'll have to adjust those legs to make sure that this plate here at the top of the steps that comes out through the door frame is all the way down in the right position before you shut your door, so you don't mess the bottom of the door up. Coming inside, come straight to a monitor panel. It's going to have quite a few switches, awning control, 3 slide outs, some light switches, a couple of thermostats for the air conditioners. One of them is also for the furnace, fan. Okay, this switch here, even though it's not labeled, is for an awning. It looks like it's for the main awning for the entrance door. Down is going out. Just a few rules. I want you to notice how the tube that's rolling is underneath the awning. You must keep it underneath the awning, which means don't overextend and roll it up backwards. Once you see the tube not wrapped anymore, I wouldn't go any further than that right there. Now if it starts to rain, you're supposed to fully pitch these awnings. You're just going to grab this lower arm bar, you're going to pull down on it, bring that awning down, so any water that tries to pull up will run off and not stretch that awning. Alright, and then of course if it's windy, I wouldn't put it out, and I wouldn't ever leave it out if I'm not standing under it. Press and hold up, bring the awning back in. Once you see the arms collapse against the wall and stop, you'll be in all the way. Nice. Operating the slide outs, I just recommend one at a time. The awning, the slide outs, the jacks, they all run off a 12 volt. Rules about the slide outs, I tell everybody there's only two positions, all the way out or all the way in. When you are done camping, always make sure that you check the slide out roofs. Any debris that is left on them when you bring it in that gets caught between the D-sill and fascia will cause a leak point. And lastly, when the slides are inside the camper, it is not recommended that you walk on the floors or sit on the couches or chairs or store heavy cargo like cases of water while they are inside the camper. Once all the way out, shouldn't be no problem. All right. Thermostat on the left side is going to be for the air conditioner more toward the rear. It will also have the furnace in that thermostat. The other one will be just fan and AC for the front air conditioner. If you are plugged in using a 50 to 30 amp adapter, you can only run one air conditioner at a time. We have an electric fireplace. I will warn you that if it is below 40 degrees, it may not turn on, so warm the camper up at the furnace, and then you can turn the furnace off and turn the fireplace on, maintain that comfort. CD player, media player, speakers, TV, remotes is for those. The refrigerator is a residential refrigerator. There is no on and off switch. There is just a temperature control. Higher the number, the colder it'll be. And to turn it off, remember, use the battery disconnect switch. Now down where the monitor panel is, we have a breaker box. It's going to have all your breakers and DC fuses. Go into that box. And to actually check your monitors for the tanks, it's going to be at the top, fresh, showing a third. Battery shows full. Black number 1 is empty. Black number 2 empty. Gray 1, gray 2. And you do not have an auxiliary tank, so it's going to read empty no matter what. Tank heaters is a heating pad on the tanks underneath in the underbelly to keep them warm so they don't freeze and bust. We have a water heater. This is for gas only. Okay, so to ignite your water heater on gas, we turn it on. This light lets you know that it's not lit if it is on. So when you first turn the switch on, give it about 10 seconds, you'll see the light go out. When it does, that's when it's igniting a first ignition. If it fails to ignite, the light will come right back on, letting you know that it failed to light. Just want you to know that every time you turn this switch on, it will have 3 attempts at ignition. So let the light go through 3 lights before you turn this off and turn it back on, or recheck anything that, you know, could be out of propane. As far as the water pump, only turn it on if there's water in your fresh. So since there is a third, I'll turn the pump on. I can leave it on. It'll prime up the water lines for water. Once you are out of water in the fresh, make sure that you turn the water pump off or it will go bad. Here we have a stove top and an oven. So knob all the way on the left turns clockwise only. These three in the middle are for the top burners. We'll just press them in, turn them till they light up, let them go, give it a second, and light those burners. As far as the oven, just remember you gotta still light a pilot light. So when you turn the knob, you're gonna press and hold it in. Wait a good 10-15 seconds. Use this igniter knob to light the pilot for the oven. Do like an oven up. See if it will ignite. Pretty simple. And we got fire. Turn it off, make sure the pilot's off. Nice little back room. This little device is a propane and carbon monoxide alarm. It is connected to the batteries on the front of the camper as well. Nice bathroom. As far as the bathroom, we do have a skylight, and this is the exhaust fan, which is a vent that you don't have to open and close. As far as rain coming in and out, we have a vent that just slides for open and close on the exhaust. And then the controls is over on the wall. So fan on and fan off. Alright, main GFCI reset for some ground fault protected outlets is on this outlet. Always travel with the shower door open and latched, and there's a latch for both sides. Here we have the master bedroom with its own slide out control next to the light switch on the wall.